Hi baddies, today we're going to be learning a little bit about Fusion 360 and how we can create something like this truss structure that I've drawn today. So, just moving that up there we go, so you can see all my tools. So what we're going to do, when you open Fusion, you won't have an image like this. So you'll probably have something like this. I've just pressed new design there as if I was creating a new sketch. Now, the first time you open Fusion, it may ask you to create a team. If so, just use your name, set it as undiscoverable, follow the prompts, and then you should be able to get into the program. Now, once we're inside, what we need to do is we need to start a new sketch. So this is a tool right here. And when you see these three different planes, I'm just hovering my mouse over them, it doesn't really matter which one you select. However, you should remember which one you select in case you want to draw on that same plane. When I say plane, it's like a surface of a cube. So we might be drawing on a particular surface of the cube. Okay, I'm going to click this one here. Alrighties. So a 2D sketch, or the sketch tool, is like the drawing in 2 dimensions, and then we're going to add a 3rd dimension later. So for today's exercise, we're going to start with a rectangle. And so I've clicked on the page and I have dragged out, but I haven't clicked a second time because instead I'm going to type my measurements. So you can see the field up highlighted in blue currently says 175. I'm going to make mine 150. Now it's automatically in millimeters, so I just press enter. And I need to start that again. Now, if you press enter, what's happened is that the one measurement has changed, but the other hasn't. Now we could fix that a different way, but I'm just going to show you what we should have done. So I'm going to press undo, which is Control Z, or this little arrow up here if you make a mistake. So we're going to get our rectangle tool again, and if you can't find it, just have a look under this menu right here. So we're going to click on the page, drag out, but we don't click a second time. Now this time I'm going to type 150, and I'm going to press Tab. So Tab has now sent the highlighted field to the other side of our rectangle, and in this case I'm going to press 50 and press enter. Okay, so now I have a perfectly dimensioned 50 by 150 mil rectangle. Now I'm going to show you another tool that might be of interest when you're drawing a bridge design. So we can get our line tool, and I'm going to zoom into my box, so I'm pinching on my trackpad, and if I do like a reverse pinch, like I'm opening 2 eyelids with my fingers to zoom out. So pinch to zoom in, open the eyes to zoom out. All right. So with my line tool, I'm going to find my center point by just dragging my finger across that line until I see that triangle. So that's a lock to center. So I'm going to click, and then I'm going to draw straight down and look for that triangle again and click again. So that is a lock to center. Now the next thing we're going to try is we're going to continue with our line tool, and we're going to click on this top section here, and this time I'm just going to run my cursor back and forth so that I can pick up that line arc there. Now when we're measuring angles, it's very important that we have a look where the start and the end of the angle is measuring from. So you're looking for that curve with the arrows. So at the moment you can see the highlighted field is actually the length of the line. Now I'm trying to draw a triangle, but I'm trying to draw it of a particular spec or measurement. So I'm trying to draw an equilateral triangle, which would mean it would have 60 degrees in this angle right here. So I'm going to press Tab so that I can change so that I'm now controlling the number of degrees. And if I zoom out again, you can see I'm measuring from the center line that I've drawn. So for me to get a 60-degree angle there, I'm going to need 120 degrees. Sorry, my bad, miscalculated, 150 degrees. And once I've got that angle locked, then I just need to find where my line will intersect my rectangle, and I'm going to click. Alrighties, we'll create the other side, so same thing, line tool, the other side. Now you can see my angle is now coming off a slightly different line. Can we change it? Sometimes you can change it. It's a bit tricky. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to press Tab, and this time if I do my maths right, I need an angle of 120. Now same thing, I'm going to reach down until my until my line intersects my rectangle and click. So now we have a lovely equilateral triangle in the middle. Now I'm going to just create a couple of other diagonal lines. One, start. So click to start and click to end. So I haven't measured the angles on those ones. They're just for demonstration purposes. And here I'm going to press my next tool that we're going to look at, and that's our offset function. So our offset function will duplicate a line. So this is how we're going to use it. We're going to offset this bottom line right here. And you can see you can actually control the direction. So the duplicate line is the red line. And so I'm going to draw it in towards my model, and I'm going to use a minimum of 9 mils and press enter. I'm going to repeat that same process again. So make sure I've got my offset tool. Okay, and we're going to make it 9. Now, I'm going to press OK there. Beautiful. And we're going to use that on these diagonal lines as well. So maybe on my diagonals, I'm going to offset them by 2.5 on either side. So 2.5, press enter. And then I'm going to repeat that process again, offset. And this time I'm going to do negative 2.5. And that's going to give me a 5 millimeter thick triangle or truss. So we'll repeat that process again, offset, click on the line, 2.5, and again, offset, click on the line. This one will be negative 2.5, and enter. Repeat that process again, click, 2.5, okay. And click on the line again, offset, negative 2.5, and almost done, offset this last one, 2.5, enter, and that same line, offset, negative 2.5, enter. Okay. So what we've now done is we've created weight to our initial line drawing, a thickness. Now, if you were drawing your bridge, you'd probably want to draw your end pieces as well. You might want to remove that center line, or you might want to offset it and thicken it. Now I'm going to show you the trim tool. So the trim tool is really useful for us to make sure that we're going to extrude the right things. So I'm going to trim away just by clicking on all the lines that we want to exclude. Click, 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 click. Okay? Pretty easy. Trim tool's nice and easy. Trim, 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 trim. I'm going to get rid of those center lines there. Oops, now I've accidentally removed an extra line, so I'm just going to press undo. There it is. It's come back. Now if I look here, I've trimmed it away too far, so let's just undo a little bit more. There. Okay. Back onto my trim tool. Undo is just Control Z, guys. Trim, 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 trim. Okay, we'll trim that centre line, trim that line, centre, that. And I'll zoom in over here. So remember, when I'm zooming, I point my cursor at where I want to zoom to, and then I pinch on my trackpad. Trimming away. Alrighty, now what would be ideal is if you trim your model away perfectly, but I want to show you that it can actually work even if you make a mistake and forget to trim a line like here, or maybe even over here. We'll trim away a couple of extras so it doesn't take too long. Alright, we're just going to leave a few of those little bits in play as an intentional mistake. And we'll just look over here. There we go. So I'll trim that, trim. Again, I'll leave a couple of extra bits. Okay. So at this stage, we want to press Finish Sketch. Now, let's just say that you had to save your work here and you couldn't get to the next step, or you hadn't finished your drawing. It's important that you press Finish Sketch. And then when you would reopen this document, to get back into it, you would go to the sketch menu here and double click on sketch, and then it becomes live and editable. Don't start a new sketch again, because those two sketches won't talk to each other if they're on separate sketches, okay? So I'll press Finish Sketch, and once we press Finish Sketch, we can now use our extrude tool. So we're going to get the extrude tool, and this time we're going to click on all the bits that we want to extrude. Now you can see all the work that I trimmed away beautifully is going to extrude well, but if I've made some mistakes and didn't trim all my lines, I might have to individually add to my selection and click inside all of those little spaces right there. Boom, and boom, there we go, I've selected them all. Now, the distance should be the same as the material that we're going to use, which is 3 millimeters. And if we want to watch what's happening, I'm just going to press my home here. Alrighty, so you can see that extrusion happening right there. So I'm going to press OK. And now we have our 3-dimensional laser cut, or part that's ready for laser cutting. Okay, thanks for watching.